Hey there guys, John Campea here. Thanks for checking out my movie vlog. I'm in San Diego in my hotel at the moment in case you can't tell. And this is my quick review for the brand new Christopher Nolan film, Dunkirk. Now, Dunkirk is based on the true events when 400,000 soldiers, with their back to the sea, trapped on a beach, completely surrounded by German forces that were coming in and no way to get home, and the concerted, organized effort to save those guys. Now, a few months ago, there was a lot of conundrum going on because people found out that this was going to be a PG-13 movie, and how on earth can you do a true war movie that's worth anything unless it's rated R? I mean, if it's going to be good, it's got to have lots of blood and guts, right? Or else it's just going to feel weak like Disney. As if there's only one specific formula you can use to make a war movie to make it any good. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with formula. Formula is good, but sometimes breaking the formula is also good. That's the case with Dunkirk. Because believe me, this is one of the most intense films you are going to see this year, maybe next year, maybe the year after that. The way Christopher Nolan sculpts this story is so impressive. Look, we heard early on from some early screenings of the film that a lot of critics are coming out saying, you know what, there's not a lot of character development in this thing. There's not a lot of, immersive dialogue. We don't really get to know the characters very well. And that kind of set off some alarms for some people. But what you realize really quickly going into this film is that this movie isn't about any of the characters. This movie is about the situation. And more than that, as a filmmaker and as an audience, this movie was about Christopher Nolan wanting to take the audience and immerse them into a real situation that happened once and let you naturally feel all the intensity, all the tension, all the fear that situation would have had. It was about taking you, plucking you out of that comfortable seat and dropping you into the middle of hell. And when the bullets are whizzing by, and when the boats are sinking, and when the planes are buzzing overhead, you didn't need to see blood to actually feel that terror. You know what this reminds me of? And this is going to sound a little weird, but follow me here for a second. It reminds me of that horror movie, The Descent. I love that horror movie. But what was so great about that movie? It wasn't the characters or getting to know them or the background or whatever. The reason I got so sucked into that movie was the first half of The Descent when they're cave diving and you can feel the claustrophobic nature. You're in there with them. What they did in that movie was able to take you out of the comfort of your seat and put you in that cave, put you in that tight spot, make you feel like you couldn't breathe, feel how insanely scared you would be down there. Because what they did was they didn't entrench you with the character at that point. They just embedded you into the situation so you could feel it. That's what Dunkirk does. The movie is about taking you out of that comfortable seat and putting you in that middle of that war and making you feel it like, honestly, no other war movie has ever made me feel it. And one of the truly incredible things that Christopher Nolan does here, you hear me say a lot, for me to care about action, I first have to care about the characters. If you get me to care about the characters, then the action has dramatic purpose. And yet in Dunkirk, I never really got to care about any of the individual characters. Yes, I got to see Tom Hardy's a great pilot. And yes, I got to see Kenneth Branagh looking very regal in a captain's hat. And yes, I got to see a bunch of those things, but I didn't care about the characters. Instead, what Christopher Nolan did was, instead of getting you to care about the characters, he got you to care about the situation because, like I mentioned before, he makes you feel like you're in the situation. You're not suddenly having the need to feel a connection to this one particular guy in order to care about the action because you felt like you were in it and that was all the motivation you need to care about the action and what's going on. Now, I'm reading some people saying that Dunkirk is just all nonstop from the beginning of the film to the end of the film. It's just boom, all nonstop. And that's not necessarily true. Christopher Nolan very intelligently throughout the film understands that as an audience member, we need to be able to catch our breath for a minute now and again, or else we just get fatigued with what's going on screen. And there are very deliberate pauses throughout the film that give us that time to catch our breath right before Nolan throws us right back into the fire again. The understanding of the preciousness of hope, the pure intensity of the movie, having a movie that's really able to teleport you from the comfort of your seat into the situation itself are some of the reasons why Dunkirk is an absolute triumph. Now, I've been hearing some people saying that this is Christopher Nolan's greatest movie ever, and I can see why some people would say that. I don't necessarily think so. I don't think it's The Dark Knight. I don't think it's Memento necessarily. I don't think it's as good as my favorite Christopher Nolan film, Insomnia, but it ranks right up there. This is a truly fantastic film, and it's a different kind of film. It is truly original. How can a World War II movie be original? And we've seen 1,000 of them. Trust me, it's the way that Nolan does the film that is very unique and very original, and I think is going to give you an experience in the movie theater that you haven't had before. But of course, the most important thing here is, what do you think? I know there were lots of advanced fan screenings across the country for Dunkirk. Were you one of the lucky people that got to see it? Are you looking forward to this film? What have the reviews done for your expectations? Are you nervous about the lack of character development? Are you excited about the action? Are you still one of those people who thinks if it's not rated R, it can't be any good? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And listen, while you're here, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at John Campea. That'll do it for me, guys. I'm going to be at Comic-Con all week producing videos as much as I can. So thanks for joining me, and until next time, bye-bye.